Hello, this is a video about the Pokemon CC third demo and its newest character, Mien Chao. I figure that there's going to not be a lot of content out there, so I will do a full rundown of the core game mechanics for this game, as well as Mienshao's mechanics. This was originally going to just be a quick combo demonstration for Mienshao, but it turns out this character has a lot of odd depth, and I felt like just showing the combos wouldn't really help explain the character at all. So I'm going to just quickly go over the main engine stuff, and try to go over Mienshao's moves with commentary, and then after that I'm going to do uncommentated combos uh, at the end. So this is a 3-button fighter. It's more like a 2.5-button fighter. And I guess if you can't tell, Pokemon CC is a in-dev game where you fight with Pokemon, and we have moves based on the games and such. And so we have two real buttons here. We have I'll refer them to as A and B, and so A is your normals, and so you only have one normal button, and you have one special button, which I'll refer to as B, similar to Smash. So inputs are a lot simpler overall. I think just about the worst things you're going to have to do in this game, at least so far, are double quarter circles or half circles, but most moves are tied to simply a direction and a button. So I have 5A, and I have 6A, and I have 4A, I have 2A, and if you're not used to that type of notation, look at your keyboard numpad if you have one. If you don't, oh well. And 6 is the right hand, so that's forward, 4 is backwards, 2 is down, 5 is in the middle, and so if you're trying to think of this maybe more in Smash terms, because this is kind of like Smash controls, this is like forward tilt or jab, or this would be a back tilt, which I believe like Terry Bogard has or something in the Ultimate, or a down tilt, a neutral B, a forward B, a down B, stuff like that. And we also have this third button, C. This is parry. And with it's hard for me to do two-player demonstrations to my setups, but I can do at least this one. So if you parry and then hit it, you get a counterattack. Or, assuming I could do this right, you can dash forward or backward out of the parry instead. This is currently a pretty in-depth demo, so we don't really have a training mode. We instead just have a button that lets us heal. I've also turned the timer off. The timer is usually 60 seconds. And you can see that we have in the top right this hypermeter. You earn that by getting knockdowns. So if you do so you have to get the actual knockdown. You can sometimes combo out of these sweeps. If you do that, you do not get the hyper bar, and as such, you can't use your super moves. And so you can spend that hyper bar on a couple of things. There are super moves and EX style moves. So I have this this move, which lets me jump around the map, but there is an EX version, which is more like a Shoryuken, going forward and attacking one with it. And so you can see that I earn the hyperbar back by getting a knockdown there. And of course we have alts. Very funny. There is a little bit of a dead zone on that alt, which we hit there. But there you can see it actually working. So that is pretty much the whole core engine. This game is overall pretty simple. Characters have relatively small amounts of moves, with the exception here of Mienshao, who has quite a few actually, which is why I wanted to make this video. So this is part 2, actually getting to Mienshao. And so, what makes Mienshao so special? Mienshao is called an advanced character in this game, and what the implications of that is that Mienshao has quite a few moves at their disposal. So first, 5A, your, I guess, jab, if you want to think about it that way. Unlike just having it's not just a long-range poke, but you can also cancel it by pressing 4A to get that dragon. And notably, this dragon is fairly frame positive, but not like a huge amount. And so this does let you do some combos like, that out of it, which is helpful, and we will get more back to that later. We have 4A, which is this anti-air kind of slow move. And it can be canceled into 6A there. And this move, has like some practical neutral uses. It's a good anti-air. 6A is a little more dubious. This is, I did forget to mention one way you can spend your bar. Notably because it's not very easy to do with Mienshao. You can cancel some moves by pressing the guard button. And I believe Mienshao's only RC, as Ivan has called them, is on this 4A6B. So you can do that forward dash. Now, that forward dash would be really good, because let's introduce another thing about Mienshao here. We have a short hop that we can do by canceling dash into jump. Except the Roman cancel cannot jump. So you can still combo out of it. I won't be demonstrating those because they're a little... There's going to be some impractical combos at the end here, but that was a little impractical even for me. And so I didn't mess with them too much. But we will... But it is possible, and there is some stuff you could do with it. Probably the most use you'll get out of that Roman cancel is, like, probably just backdashing out of it. So, it is an RC. It's the only one you have. It is interesting, but that's about all it has. Now here's the big normal for Mienshao, 6A. So this is, again, you have a second hit by pressing 6A again. And 6A notably cancels into Mienshao's sweep. Now you can tell Mienshao sweeps pretty fast and has good range. It's actually pretty typical for this game. Blaziken over here also has a pretty good sweep. These are hard knockdowns. You can tech in this game. Tech roll. But notably for Mienshao, sweep can be cancelled and comboed into things, which makes it basically your B&B tool for this character. And our last grounded normal here is 2A, which is just 2 hits. You do not have to press another button. Does cancel. It's got good range, relatively good frame data. Not like your super best combo tool, but hey, you'll take it. We have our aerial options. We have JA, jumping attack, and it is 2 hits, it's 2 kicks. It does quite a bit of damage. Obviously hard to get both hits near the ground, but you can do the short hop. Still a little tricky to get both hits, but very doable. Is one of your best moves. This really does help your combos a lot, gives you a lot of damage. And you have, obviously, one of the best neutral tools ever here, a dive kick. This dive kick can cross up very easily. It's Fighter Maker. This is a Fighter Maker 2D game. Dive kicks are, I would say, notoriously broken in this engine. They cross up really easily. They're really powerful. If you can combo off your dive kick, it's great. And as it turns out, Mienshao can combo off their dive kick. So it is a pretty good option, and we will get more to those later. We will cover the specials now. We have Neutral Special, 5B, which is these long-range zoning slaps, kind of, and you can drift while you're doing it. You can't, like, change your drift. You kind of gotta pick the way you go. This is actually a move that technically is usable in combos. It does combo after sweep. It can get more hit than one, like, character specific. From my testing, Beware can get hit twice, and Heracross can get hit 3 times, which actually makes it a pretty good follow-up option for against those characters. But otherwise, this is more of a neutral tool. Our 6B is this flying kick, and it is, as we saw earlier, something that we can use to follow up on the sweep, which makes it very helpful. You can follow it up in some other juggles, and it's relatively fast and can catch your opponent off guard. It does, I think that's 3 damage. Characters have like 20-some health in this game, for reference. So, a move that's like not unreactable by any means, but can easily catch your opponent if they're trying to do something stupid. For 3 damage is pretty significant. We're gonna get to our first interesting part. We can spend meter to cancel that into Swift. That mostly just makes it more safe. It's not really a combo option, but it is a way to spend bar to prevent yourself from being punished. I guess I should mention now that Jump B is Swift as well, and only the Jump B version of Swift, not the other cancel version of Swift. You can press B 3 times instead and get a stronger version at the cost of a bar. This is mostly a neutral tool. You can combo into this, but I haven't found any optimal combo routes that use it. So it's interesting. There's probably some good potential in this move. From what I've seen so far, it actually looks like a pretty vile tool in neutral. This can actually really punish people that are trying to approach. I guess I should have clarified. No, we'll keep talking about the moves. We have this very interesting move here, which brings us onto the wall. 2B down special. And so when we're there, we can just let it rip, and it'll just do this dive kick. We can hold forward, and it'll cross the screen and then do a dive kick the other way, and that will probably cross up. Not guaranteed. Cross-ups are very ambiguous in this engine. And you can also hold up, and you'll get this jump. And you can use your aerial options out of it. And notably, you can use dive kick, which actually makes this a... if you are, like, mid-screen being pressured, you can theoretically just, like, you know, press this move and get out. Because... you can stay pretty close to the edge of the screen using Swift or Dive Kick, which is pretty useful. I don't believe it has like good invuln or anything like that, but it can get you out of mid screen if for some reason you don't want that. and maybe you want to go back to the corner and maybe focus on zoning with Swift or something. And as we've seen, we have the EX version of this move, which goes to the corner, the other corner, and deals damage on the way there. This is a Shoryuken motion and is your reversal, as far as I can tell. And we have the super, which is double quarter circle, and has a force palm that does 7 damage and has a projectile that does 7 damage. And so now we're going to talk about really Mienshao's, I can't really say playstyle because I haven't played enough to really get down to playstyle, but what really Mienshao has as in total from its toolkit. So when I initially was playing Mienshao, I felt that the damage was really low, but it turns out this character's damage is kind of locked away in a bunch of really flashy, impractical combos. You're kind of like this pseudo hybrid zoner rushdown character that has like you can really deal some damage if you can like get your ideal situation set up or like put somebody in the corner, but otherwise you kind of have this low damage neutral and you're kind of just picking apart your opponent. I found a lot of very high damage combos that were not super practical, and a couple of very practical combos that did not deal very much damage. So you've kind of got this weird hybrid. It's possible that there's some more sauce that I haven't found. It's only been one night of this character. This is a very new game. But that's kind of what Mienshao does, and they're pretty complicated, and I think I'm just going to cut and show you guys some of the combos now. Coming back real quick, because I did neglect to mention 2 things. So first, I wanted to go a little more in depth on the dive kick. There are 2 very notable aspects of the dive kick that I need to cover. First, it's instant. You can go in and do instant overheads, which is obviously crazy. The second is that there is a little nuance with 6A where if you do a instant overhead dive kick or a deep cross up, you get a 3rd kick off of 6A. This might be just a bug in some Fighter Maker jank, but it's interesting. I will do it by doing a deep fake cross up on Blaziken in the corner here. If you notice there, I kicked with 6A 3 times, which gets me 1 additional damage compared to doing it the normal way. There is also some hyper meter related stuff that I neglected to mention, which hopefully you could forgive me on here. One is that the wall does have an EX version. If you didn't spot the difference between those 2, I wouldn't blame you. The EX version simply has a hitbox as it goes across the screen. Not a huge difference, but it is a difference. I also do want to mention that I said something about the super having a 7 damage palm and a 7 damage projectile. Notably, the palm does scale, and the super projectile does not, it looks like. And additionally, it doesn't look like you're intended to hit with both, but it looks like in some fringe situations you can. And so I'll try to show that off. Both hitting with both hits and hitting with just the projectile, I believe, across the combos. So it it massively increases super damage with the projectile, and I figured I would just mention that before we get into the combos.